So you would say back then it had more stuff to do?
Is it that it wasn't passed down, or is it just because times just changed?
If you compare to how it was back then, was it more active compared to now?
How did you even come to the realization that you had the prostate cancer?
And that's why you don't like the radiation either, right?
Cancer is a taboo that everybody hates to speak about.
What going on, everybody? Back again with another episode of The Talk. Today we have a very special guest here. We have a father, a landscaper, a swimming teacher, a lot of different things. I'm sure we could talk on a lot inside of this. In this episode, we have Mr. Carlos Lopes. Firstly, I'd like to ask how you're doing, and also a question I just want to ask to start things off. How was it for you, like growing up on Statia?
Okay, good evening. Nice of you to invite me. I cannot quite tell you how it was growing up on Statia, but I can tell you how it was coming back on vacation on Statia, because from a young age I was adopted by my aunt, and we moved to Antigua, lived there a couple of years, moved to to Montserrat first, then to Tortola. But I came home on vacations. And coming home on vacations here, I liked it until 9 o'clock at night when they took out the lights. There was no electricity, so they used to pump up the old lamps, the oil lamps, pump it up. They were bright and nice. The beauty about it is where my grandmother lived, the house below us that burned down. That's where it was central of town. That's where all the lamps were lined up. Nice, they lined up there on the porch. The gentlemen will come and pump it up and put them on the different poles. And at 9 o'clock, they'll go take them down. So I didn't like
and your aunt name was, what's her name? Your aunt?
Oh, Marjorie Lopes Jacobs. Yeah. And growing up in Antigua, they had lights. They had all the modern stuff. Montserrat was the same way. I remembered my first experience in Montserrat with television, black and white TV. So those. I'm 63, but when you look at it, color TV hasn't been around that long. But Statia was nice. I loved the open land. It was free. I got in trouble a lot of times in the burying grounds, messing, because I liked the old stuff. Messing around in the burying grounds, frightening the kids. I was miserable. That was fun. Carnival, I love Carnival here. It was a nice experience. What is missing here in St. Eustatius is the older people, the peppermint candies they used to walk around and sell. Your potato pudding, your bread pudding. They had boiled peanuts. Everybody sold a little something.
During Carnival?
Not during Carnival, all year round. So I missed that, people would come to the house selling. That's how you made a little money. And that I missed coming back older. You had your people who would come around, they would sell you ginger beer. You don't get that much anymore. If you go to St. Kitts, it's still there.
It is true,
the scafice, they would call it. They would scrape it and sell those things with the syrup on top. Sunday was a big thing at Charlie's place, because it was Shing Ding, we call it. So from 3 in the afternoon was kids' time, We'd have music, we have dancing. He had the ice cream there. We'd walk with our little 2.5. We used to call it a two-stiver. It's a 2.5 guilder. So it was called a two-stiver. So we used to walk with our little money, and we used to have a good time. Back in those days, it was real good.
So you would say back then it had more stuff to do than now, although we have modernized a little bit?
It's a tough one. For the times, you had more interesting stuff to do, yes, because we were outside more.
Yes.
Nowadays, we have television, we have video games, we have our iPods, we have our phones, so we tend to sit on the porch more. You know, back then, I wonder who I can frighten coming up the road. You catch what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
minds became creative.
Creative, yeah.
You know, or man, I don't want to sleep by my aunt tonight. Let me go see if my father, you know, go up, make up a story why I can't sleep down there. You know, a story good enough where he ain't gonna call and ask her why I coming up. You know, because they had the phones then. You know, you used to wind the phone. They used to take up the phone, wind it, and then speak.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, so you really used to make sure that that story.
Yeah, story has to be good.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
And see, you're talking about like the scuff ice and the peppermint, and is it that because you say back then there's a lot of things that used to happen? Is it that it wasn't passed down, or is it just because times just changed?
That's true. That too. I think a lot of stuff hasn't been passed down, and times change too. How we make money has changed. How government run has changed. So maybe money has been more available because back then when I'm talking about, we still didn't, let me think, we still didn't have elections like we know it now. We had to vote for somebody in Curacao.
Okay.
Okay.
For a party in Curacao. We couldn't vote for ourselves. But as things changed, we then could start voting for ourselves, and it started out. That's a whole different story. I can give you how the politicians here started out.
Yes.
You know, that's could be why it has changed. You know, and you don't see many of the people pass down a lot of the stuff. If you look at the Kili Kili band, when some of these guys, we don't want to say it no more, that culture is going to be dying here.
Yes.
I was looking at a band from St. Kitts, Nevis, and their flute player was a young fellow. He's about 16, 17, and I was impressed. So that means they're trying to keep their culture going. And I haven't seen that in a while, a young fellow in that type of a band. You know, so these are things that we should have continued pushing in a certain direction. But a lot of times I instill in my kids, you have to know the past to know where you are, to know the future. If I knew back then that history would be what it is now, then I might have pushed more to keep some old stuff, to hold them aside.
Exactly.
You know, so these are things, if we can pass down to the younger generation, hold on to some of your history.
And just imagine that you mentioned that. So imagine the gap of where it has been lost, and now you're trying to recollect and bring back that importance to know, like, hey, this is really important. But back then you was like, okay, it's nothing, but
I can remember like Charlie's place from my generation. I can remember going there to play table tennis.
Table tennis, yes.
And then
Badminton.
Exactly. I can remember that. That's what I remember. And you said back then you all used to be a place to go to like a club or
like a club. It was a movie theater too.
Okay.
He would bring in different movies, and he had the reel and everything. It was like a real theater. They had plays. Later on, the center was created, the community center. But back then, they would have shows there. And I can remember going to shows where, you know, like George Cotter, they call him Piggy, nicknamed. I remember when he and I'm going to bring up some, which is good. One of the girls, Jasin, who went over on the pier, she had one of those, was in that accident where the kids drowned on the, falling over the pier. Him and her used to sing some nice old time love song, and all that used to happen there. That was the place. It was like a stage. It was a theater. So they had movies, you had your ice cream, you had your popcorn, you had dances used to go on, you had everything there. because we didn't have the community center back then.
Okay.
You know, so these are things I enjoyed coming
Yes.
home.
Yeah.
And you were living in the town area
Yes,
then?
always.
So if you can compare how town used to be, because sometimes people come, maybe, okay, where's Orania start? You know, when you go to most places is where all the action is happening and there's more going on in town. If you compare to how it was back then, was it more active compared to now, or do you see?
It was active because it was town. You know, you had the government buildings were around there. It has always been the same. Let me think. Maybe a few more shops.
Yeah.
Because when you turn down the road from me, right where the house burnt down, you turn to go across Duggins. There was a store on the other side. They're fixed. There's a container there now.
Okay, I know.
Benno, I think Benno used to be there, they called him. I'm not too good at the names because I didn't actually live here.
Yeah.
I was just coming in.
Yeah.
And people used to go there for their little hardware stuff and their little stuff. Even my grandmother, Alice Lopes, living in the house there, she used to sell little things.
Yeah.
Everybody sold a little thing. So town, yes, but it was more like town.
Yeah.
But Statia is one of the places where town, as we call it, is not really town.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
really have that many shops there. So it's different. It's more of a residential town.
Yeah.
You know, you go to St. Kitts, you go to Nevis, you go to Antigua, St. Martin. Town has shops and shops. Town had a little more houses, though. Opposite me, where that little field is,
With a big
Yes.
tree.
where the tamarind tree is,
yeah.
there were 2 houses there and 2 houses in the back. So that's missing.
I never know that.
The house, the house above us, opposite, what you call it, Vaughan,
Juicy Delicious?
Juicy
Yeah,
Delicious,
yeah.
that used to look nice. It was lived. It was people lived in it. You know, so town was more inhabited.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I forgot there was a house opposite. There's a field there by the hospital. There were houses there too.
Wow.
Wooden houses.
Yeah.
So you see, so town was more, you know, and the hospital back in my day was close to, what do you call it? 318.
Oh, that's where the hospital was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where it
Okay.
I was born somewhere over there.
Wow.
My mother and them always used to tease me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then it went at one time opposite the library.
Okay.
You know that.
That 2-story building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that wasn't in my day. That was before.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, nice.
So these are little things. You know, if you go back with history, a lot of the young people don't know that.
Yeah.
And how many years have you lived in Montserrat?
Montserrat was there 2 years.
Okay.
2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
And Antigua was where you...
Yeah, Antigua, we were there for a year. The reason why I was in so many places is Miss Jacobs was married to a gentleman from St. Kitts, Mr. Alwyn Jacobs. He was a customs officer. So like police, they moved them around.
Yeah.
And he moved up the ranks quickly, so they moved him quickly. If there's a problem somewhere, they would send him. So they, when they took me, they were in Antigua, but it's a long story. I'll break it down shortly. My stepmother, I say mother, Miss Marjorie, she had an accident and couldn't have children because of that accident. And my father says, well, "But you need a child," and brought me and put me in her hands. And that's where I've been since.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so she adopted me. They got all the papers, and then we moved to Antigua. Then soon after that, he got a job in Montserrat, and we built a house there. Then he was offered a better job in Tortola, so we were there about 3-4 years, and then we moved to.
So you weren't in Montserrat when that volcano...
No, but the house, our house would have been one of the 4th or 5th to have gone once the volcano went.
wow.
Because we were right on the side of the volcano.
Oh.
High up on the side of the volcano.
Yeah.
As high as it lets you go.
Yeah.
So in Amishad.
Because I recently was there, and then they give us a tour of the whole, all the
Okay,
area.
that's
It was
good.
30 years ago.
Is the clock still, can you still see the face of clock in Plymouth?
I don't think so. I can't remember.
Okay.
A lot of things was under like ashes and yeah.
Plymouth was where the main town was.
Okay.
Yes.
And there was a big clock, like in St. Kitts.
Oh, okay.
The one in Montserrat was 4 times the size of that.
Bigger than that?
Yes, you could have seen that clock from anywhere in town.
Nice.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, it was huge
Showed us
because
pictures.
after the volcano, the sand was straight at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Wow.
That tells you how high it was.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so Montserrat was nice. I love Montserrat.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
The greenery, the fruits. Montserrat was green.
Yeah.
You know, even more green than St. Kitts. The fruits. But I was young then.
Yeah.
I remember seeing my first accident there. You know, driving home from school with Mr. Jacobs, and a little boy got run down.
Wow.
And he was the first to come, and I remember holding the little boy in the back of the car and we speeding to the hospital.
Wow.
But he made it,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, and I was worried, oh my God, I'll never run across the road again, because he just ran across and somebody hit him,
Yeah.
you know. So you remember those things. I remember about Montserrat too is summertime.
Yeah.
I was gone from time the sun came out and till the lights, the street lights came on.
Yeah.
We were gone, and your mother never looked for you. You know, it's not something. I wonder where them children. You know, you're gone. You came home, and you came home. Your food was there.
Yeah.
So
Would you compare Statia and Montserrat have similarities?
no. Statia's unique. Statia's
Because I
unique.
was recently there and I didn't even know like they were so close, like it's right next to
Yeah, it's
Nevis.
close. Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
very
was like
close.
further down,
Further,
but
yes.
traveling there is more of a
Yeah.
a longer.
Yeah, it's
longer way.
harder because of if they didn't have that volcano accident, I think they would have been more popular than even Antigua.
Yeah.
Montserrat had golf courses.
I remember that,
They have
yeah.
hotels. They had their airport was big. Montserrat was booming. It was a nice place to be.
Yeah.
They had one of the best English. If the way you hear me talk, that's Montserrat culture.
Okay.
It's not U.S. I learned most of my schooling was in Montserrat.
Okay.
So my kindergarten, I started at a 7-day kindergarten, and that's where I learned to speak. And my accent is actually the Montserrat accent.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't know. A lot of
Yeah.
people think it's States.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The States, you know, as we say, the Black Americans have that drawl, you know, and mine is mostly, some people say British, but Montserrat had one of the more British speaking, you know.
Okay. Where did the love for sports come from?
That didn't start in Montreal. That started in Tortola, the British Virgin Islands. It started out with volleyball. I played on this school. But another thing too, what is lacking here, every day we did a sport in school. So I learned soccer, I learned volleyball, softball, cricket. It wasn't much basketball yet, but volleyball, I started out on the school team. How they taught sports is you learn sports in class. So if you're going to play volleyball, you need to know how many inches the ball was.
Okay.
You needed to know how wide the court was. You needed to know the rules of the game. So your academics were learning the rules and the specifications of what you're playing. So that was part. Then you had the physical where you had to go out and learn. So all their sports, and I think it's done in the British Islands like that. All their sports, you're taught the rules of the game
In school.
in school.
Yeah.
So that's where I
So
learned
from there,
sports.
that's where it sparks the interest.
And you know, Lopes again, that have to win.
Yeah.
So that has always proceeding, you know. In volleyball, it was there. And then one day, a guy said, "If you're so good in volleyball, a coach from the States, I need you to to start basketball. So I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And then we started there. I remember as we come back to Statia, I remember coming here on vacation, bringing up basketball. There was no rims. I can't remember who was with me. We set up a bicycle, you know, the 20 bicycle rim down at the Catholic school. I don't remember if it was under the building or if it was on a board or something outside. And that's where I was teaching the guys to do that. I said, man, we play basketball.
Yeah.
And that's where we actually started playing basketball here.
Yeah.
And basketball became my number one sport. I really didn't like volleyball as much.
Yeah.
I didn't like softball because softball, they started me behind the pitch. I had to be the catcher.
Yeah.
And this guy bat the ball, threw back the bat, busted out all my front teeth, missed carnival that year.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Yeah.
I missed carnival. I said, I ain't playing that sport again. But in the US, I started to play because you play everything. Once people know you can play and you're pretty good, you know, you get it. So that's where the sports were.
Playing basketball then, was it popular then as well?
Yes, basketball at one time, other than cricket, but I wasn't too much into cricket. I only played cricket because everybody was playing at the time and I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But cricket was Statia's number one sport back in the day.
Oh.
Then soccer, football. You know, we used to play football down at the school or where the SDA church is now, Newton's pasture.
Okay.
We used to play there. I remember goalkeeping for Skell and them boys. You know, I was lazy when it comes to, I stayed in the goal.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I became very good in the goal because I played volleyball and basketball.
Yeah.
And in the goal, you're using your hands.
Exactly.
So I became very good in that. But basketball, after a while, became the most popular sport here. I remember coming back from Tortola, and the older guys will appreciate this. I started a team called Dread Blacks. And they ruled Statia for a while. And I'd meet the guys in Curacao if we had a big match.
Yeah.
We'd go to St. Martin and play. I was living in the States then, so I would fly down, send their uniforms, fly down and play with them.
Yeah.
So that was the fun. And Statia, I remember one time there was a guy called Alan Lane.
Yeah.
He was a coach for the team here. So I'd send down the uniforms and reach down to play because we're going to play Liber.
Yeah.
So we're going, I think, to Tortola to play. And he says, no, you haven't practiced with the guys, you can't play. I called Tortola, y'all got a space? You come in? I say, yeah. Well, don't worry, we'll throw a guy off. You know?
Just so.
Yeah. Yes, not tooting my own horn. Basketball, there was not many people could out-jump me.
Yeah.
In Tortola, I carried the school's high jump record for 10 years after I left.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was good at track and field. Yeah, that's missing here too.
That's for sure.
Track and field.
Yeah.
I was very good at that. I used to run the 100 meter.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, pass out at the end. Because I put everything in it.
Yeah.
So they knew you have to have glucose, the tent with the glucose water was at the end. So they bring it and give it to me right away.
One time.
Yeah. So that was what's missing. But when we went to Liber, I ended up playing with Tortola instead of Statia. So I cannot say that I got to play with the Statia guys in Liber.
Yeah.
And those Liber games were very popular down in these parts.
Yeah.
You know, they tried to revive it. I think it's going on, but it's a little harder to get in now.
Yeah.
You know, but sports in Statia has always been. I remember coming back, going and watch the girls. Women's softball was very popular here too. You know, Elver and them girls down there, man, they used to play. It was more popular than the boys' game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the girls' game was softball.
Now it's a boy, right?
Yeah.
No, you
man?
can't really get a girl.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
that
that's how
much,
things have changed.
Change a lot.
Yeah.
Soccer was for the boys, basketball. The girls used to play softball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was nice. Used to play down at the school, the GVP school in that area there. You know, home run was in the
baseball.
governor yard.
And baseball was not
No,
a thing
baseball
for him.
came later, after Koki came here.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
started to introduce
Dominican
Pony
Republic,
League.
yeah.
It started with Pony League.
Yeah, I can remember. I was part of that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Pony League.
Yeah.
I think your mom was
Yes, she was also on
president
the-
of the
yeah.
Pony League
That's when we used to go
Association.
Puerto Rico and things
Yes,
like that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I can remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could remember my earliest memory of you. I can remember basketball.
Basketball.
Up the
It's
center.
always been basketball.
Playing basketball with Casey too. So
Yeah.
I can remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, playing basketball a lot.
I can say
remember that.
those times it was really hot then. Like
Listen,
up in the center
Summer-
and
Center brings some fun. I'm glad they have
Yes.
redone it.
Yeah.
I wish they could have put a little roof.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be waterproof, but enough to keep the rain off of the
Yeah.
court. That would have been nice.
yeah.
But
yeah.
basketball in the center was the thing.
That was the best.
Carnival didn't start till that last basketball game.
So intense it used to
Yeah.
be.
I came back here in 99 and basketball was still good.
Yeah.
I remember going up there one night and if you saw the crowd of people,
Yeah.
you know, there's
Yeah.
a big
That's the
crowd.
thing you miss. You don't see that crowd anymore.
No.
I don't know.
But what has happened? Volleyball, you don't see the crowd as much. You know, it has changed. Things have changed. The television is there. You get more channels. Back in those days, you could only get 2 or 3 channels.
So everybody
Antigua,
out.
St. Kitts, or whichever one's coming in.
Yeah.
So you needed somewhere to go. You know, and basketball was interesting, especially teams here were good. They got so competitive that they had to bring in referees from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You know, and it got competitive, got real competitive.
Yeah.
And
But that's the good thing about sports, no? Like that's the fun.
even when I came back in '99, basketball was good. We started up. I remember they didn't have any basketball association, so a couple of us got together. We brought it back, and we had a lot of games. Miguel claims he had the first girls basketball. But I have news for him. We had girls basketball. I'll give you the age group. Idris Bennett had played with us. You know, she learned then. Tricia, Ashanti, Terracier. I'm giving you the
Yeah.
Suzette Brown.
Wow.
You see, you remember Suzette Brown?
Yeah.
Those were the girls. I'm carrying you. That's when
Yeah.
we started out first.
I can remember that. That's true.
Yeah, I can remember that too.
remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We started the girls basketball, and I had you remember the Chinese boy Johnny Ann?
Yeah, he was same class with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same class, yeah.
He was playing on the junior because we had the big guys. So I said we need to. So I brought a junior team. So the junior team had 3 girl teams and 1 junior boy team that played with the girl team to make a 4 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it was good. The boys didn't walk over the girls. Because the girls were bigger,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
boys were better.
Yeah.
But still, they had to play a little
Exactly.
rough and tough to get the rebound because the girls would get the rebound.
Exactly.
So basketball was real good back then.
Yeah. I could
Basketball was real good.
So you're talking about all the sports that you played. I can say maybe you can be the master in sports. I can say.
Yeah.
Because you have familiarized yourself with so many different sports. What does sports really do to you internally? What does it? Yeah.
Sports keeps me healthy. Keeps me. I like competition. You know, I argue a lot, but my arguing is not. You hear us arguing, you swear it's a fight going to happen. But it's not. It's a competitive argument.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I started my own softball team here because I started out with an argument in the yard, who better than who. And we set up the thing, we hit the ball in somebody's car, the person cuss us out. Okay, let's take it to the field.
Yeah.
And then that group of us stuck together and then we started our own softball team.
Yeah.
So that's how it started out. And I don't know, back in the day, if you drove down the road, you'll always see a volleyball net in my yard.
Yes.
In the back, there was
Yes.
for Casey to shoot basketball.
It's true. Always something with sports.
There's always
yeah.
something with sports.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't realize is sports with young people teaches them a lot of things. It teaches them decision making. You know, should I pass the ball? Should I not? Should I swing at this ball? Should I not?
Yeah.
You know, so they're not impulsive.
Yeah.
They think. It's physically good because nowadays we eat so much, we sit down so much. Sports keeps you fit, physically fit. It also gives you discipline. Um, there's a lot of arguments and fights nowadays in sports. That's only because they never learned the discipline part. And a lot of the guys that join into the sports now have joined at an older age instead of a younger age. And if you get them in at that younger age, their discipline is there.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier. Let's just play at school. You're a teacher. Sports day, the kids would rather will listen to everything you say, because if you cut out that sports day, you've cut out their life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like a kid today. You take away their tablet, you could almost get them wash all the dishes and get one just to get the tablet
Exactly.
back.
Yeah.
So that's what sports gave us back then.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing else. And in the back of our minds, maybe if I get good enough, I can get over there. I can get there. I like sports, especially growing up in the Virgin Islands, is we traveled a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I went to a lot of the islands, just traveling, playing basketball, volleyball, soccer.
Yeah.
And if they were playing golf, I was on there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I learned all the sports. Because if you're going to travel, you got to be good enough to get on the team. So whatever team was traveling, I'll go and practice and get good at it where I got picked.
Yeah.
So that was another thing it gave you. And what the guys here like, we used to like to go for Liba. They had volleyball. They used to like to go to St. Martin, St. Kitts to play sports.
Yeah.
It's a little easier, like I was showing Casey, because he was doing the basketball professionally in Holland. I said, I wish they had that in my day.
Yeah.
You know, where we can go and play. There are leagues now where it's not the NBA.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not college. It's, you know, you can go and play in a professional league.
Yeah.
And there are more opportunities now than there were then. But our cricket team here traveled a lot because our cricket team played St. Martin, St. Kitts, played Aruba, Curacao back in the day.
Yeah.
Cricket was popular.
Yeah.
And Stanton tried to bring it back with the 2020, but then he got into trouble and everything went down again with cricket. But sports actually brings people together. Not now, but back then. You know, everybody would be on the soccer field. Everybody would be on the softball field.
Yeah.
Basketball, like you remember, was packed. So it brought people together.
Yeah.
It made you feel like a community.
It's true.
It made you feel
That's
like a
for sure.
community, you know. And where the British Islands have a little edge on us is they've started it here now. I remember we were put into 4 stages. It was yellow house, yellow, blue, red, and orange. When you joined the school, you were put into one of those houses, and you were there for your life in school.
Okay. Okay.
You had to fight academically and sports to make your house number 1.
But that is good. It's like encouragement, motivation.
Yes. So that house, you know, I always would go down as Gold House, Carlisle House, I remember it. Gold, yellow. We would fight to win every year.
Yeah.
You know, I even joined races that I never wanted to run because your house, and when you come to that sports day, we had a special sports day in the Virgin Islands, you came with a score on a board.
Yeah.
That's the academic score. Like when they put all of your grades from all the different houses together, who is ahead academically. Yeah. So a lot of times we would be behind, like in 3rd place. So to pull in first, you had to do it on the field.
Yeah.
So somehow I think our group was more athletic.
Yeah.
Because academically we'll be coming in 3rd. You're seeing, okay, we need 50, 60 points to pull ahead. Yeah. So that means you have to win a lot of first place.
Wow.
You know?
Exactly.
So that was a big motivation.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big
definitely.
motivation. And I think that could help here. You know, but like I said, things have changed.
Yeah.
For the past, I started swimming down at the pool 2004, 2005. And every year I had a team to go to St. Croix. We went to Puerto Rico, we went to Curacao,
Yeah.
St. Martin.
Yeah.
And every year we go 2-3 places.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids now willing to swim.
Wow.
Yeah.
It has changed that drastically.
Yeah.
You know, even though they know you're going away, that
Still.
didn't catch. Because I would have guys wanting to, oh man, Lopes, I hear, boy, they hear when you go away, it's good. Can we join?
Yeah.
All right, you have to practice.
Yeah.
So that's how you weed them out. It wasn't, I would carry everybody that practiced. You didn't have to qualify.
Yeah.
You just had to practice.
As long as you were consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because then I learned little tricks that to win as a team, the more people you have and the more second place, third place you can win, get you there. You don't always have to win first because you have points up to 6th place.
Yeah.
So if I have 3, let's say we know who's going to win first, second, and third, and I can put 2 guys that can come 4th or 5th or 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
That's 1 point or 2 points.
Yeah, yeah.
So you put them in a race still.
Yeah,
So as long as and I'm like, you got to finish.
Yeah, yeah,
You see?
yeah.
So you motivated them to, you know, listen, you didn't win, you didn't get a trophy, but you helped the team.
Exactly.
You know, and that's...
And I think those things they can carry on in their life,
Yes.
not only for that moment, but it's more than what you say.
And that the beauty about that is a lot of kids that come back from Holland, I love that respect. They'll come down to visit. Lopes, we came to see you.
Yeah.
We brought our children. And then, you know, you feel
Yes,
good
that's
when,
nice.
when they're telling the child, listen, this is the coach that taught me to swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that makes you feel, you know, feel special that
Yeah.
somebody will bring their child in it, you know.
How is swimming going now?
Swimming is going good for swimming lessons.
Yes.
But swim team-wise, I don't see me being... I'm trying still. I haven't given up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying still, but we'll see.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
You know, swimming lessons, I'm full.
Yeah.
You know, but that's all year round. You know, so
And what about parent participation?
a lot. But that's what I encourage. You know, I make a joke. I make a lot of jokes. I say, listen, Mom, Friday is Mom or Dad come in the pool and help me day. And a lot come in and help. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
That's nice. That
You
is
know,
nice.
and someone will say, listen, you gotta teach me to swim. I say, okay, I won't teach you to swim when the kids are here
Yes.
because they're gonna tease you.
Yeah.
You know? So I set up times when the parents come after.
Yeah.
You know, and that's nice. Parent participation is a plus. If you don't do that, then you don't actually get that kid to do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a little too much parent participation. Like,
Yeah.
somebody bring a child and they're hanging on to me for like a month.
Yeah.
And the parents is wait, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
They'll get it on their own time.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly, yeah.
I remember I got upset with a parent a couple of years back. The boy was afraid. He just took the boy and threw him in the pool. So I jumped in, got the guy, told him, listen, can you leave? Don't come back.
Yeah.
Bring your child, you just leave.
Yeah.
I said, you just killed 3 weeks of coaching and coaxing
Yeah.
just to get him to stand at the side of the pool.
Yeah. Exactly.
You just killed that.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, the child was so thin that I jumped in and I was talking back bad to dad
Yeah.
that they actually,
Still.
no, they improved.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
It was a plus, but I didn't like that plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I learned that way. It threw you over the pier.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people say so. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot of stories like that actually.
but and I was, like I said, I was one of the mischievous kids.
Yeah.
When they threw me in, went to the bottom and just had to come in. Oh, you threw me in, you gotta come in and go and wait. I held my breath and wait. They jumped in after.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? But I was one of those kids.
Look like you was really mischievous.
Yeah,
but-
I was- you know, if you look at a lot of kids, if you look at kids like, you know, abroad,
Yeah.
and you listen to the stories, you hear, okay, you watch a movie, I hated my parents. Oh, my parents were so mean to me.
Yeah.
I look back at my life and say, okay, a lot of the blows I had was a near-death experience, but whose fault was it? How can I hate my mother and I
Yeah.
tease, I actually
Yeah.
egged her and, you're slow, you can't catch me. Yeah, like, that always competition,
Testing. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And then she'd take off after me. I said, listen, she was faster than gun smoke. Man. Listen, she would pick up something and just feel it in the back of your head. I mean, I used to get a couple chop. I mean, I don't remember. One time she was ironing. Carlos, go bring your clothes for me to iron. Man, the clothes can stay there. I didn't feel like going. I'm here sitting down. It's a hot day. She said, if I tell you one more time, I said, Mom, just iron your clothes. I don't know how that iron reached across me. And the irons back then were big. I just felt blah. Mom, you don't kill me. What is, so,
Boy, that is something. I think them irons back then were more heavier.
Yes, those big heavy duty
So,
irons.
can you
And it
imagine?
was hot, but I didn't remember the hot. I just felt the thud. But you didn't hate your parents because you know they were disciplining you.
That's what it
And I were bad. So.
Yeah.
What made you ultimately come back to the island in '99?
Okay, I was doing very good in the U.S. I went to Canada too. I did my I did hotel and restaurant management in Holland. In Canada.
Yeah.
And I moved to Florida after I finished. I got my master's and I moved to Florida. I got a job in a hospital cafeteria by accident.
By accident.
Yeah, I went into their cafeteria. There was a shortage. And I asked the lady, I says, you okay? I need help. She said, you can run the register? I'd rather cook. She says, okay, can you come? I'll tell you. I says, just write whatever. I'll figure it out. So she's like, so I went in on the line. I pulled out the drawer, saw everything. Then she'd tell me, a BLT. And I made it. She's like, how does he know? But I remember I just finished hotel. So all of these, she says, I'll need a BBQ sandwich. I made it. I need a club sandwich. I made it. I need a patty melt,
Yeah.
I need a hamburger cheese, Swiss cheese and fried. Bam, bam, bam. And she says, man, you're good. You want a job? I got it by accident.
Wow.
I didn't want to work, but I got it. I got a job, and then I moved. Then I became head manager of the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Then the lady, she moved and went to a private place called Denny's Restaurant.
Yeah.
Then she pulled me there.
Yeah.
Imagine, you see how life is? Wow.
So she pulled me, and then I went and I worked with them for about 12 years. And when I became district manager with 6 stores, I started my lawn service, and like I said, again by accident.
Yeah.
I did lawn service in Tortola as a little boy, wash cars. I'm always been hustling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like to ask my parents for money because
Yeah.
you're gonna hear no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I hustled, did car wash, cut the grass and everything. But this guy says, man, I hate Florida. It's so hot. I'm moving back to New York. I said, so what's going to happen to your lawn service? I'm trying to sell it. I'm selling. I said, oh, okay. How much you selling it for? I said, I'm selling my truck, my equipment. I have 20 accounts. Whoever gives me $10,000. I said, oh, sounds interesting. So I says, okay, come tomorrow. I'll get you your $10,000.
Yeah.
So he came. He showed me where all the accounts. He introduced me to the people. He gave me his $10,000, and that started my lawn service.
Yeah.
Within 2 months, my wife and I were doing about 60 yards on our spare time per month, and it moved from there.
Yeah.
And why I changed, and that's where we're going to come to why I came in '99. Why I changed is I was working at a store in Hollywood, Florida, and I drove home. Can't remember driving home, and I was looking at the news in the morning, getting ready to go cut some grass, and it says, we like to this car number plate, so and so, saved this guy last night. He was in a motorbike accident. He fell off his bike. This guy saved his life. But we're looking for this good Samaritan. It was my plate number they had.
Oh, wow.
Then so I went and looked at my shirt. It was bloody. I don't remember that. I just came, took my shirt and hit my... I don't remember.
Wow.
That's why I said it's time to quit.
Wow.
It's time to quit. So I did my lawn service. Then Mr. Jacobs, who was married to Mrs. Jacobs, Marjorie, he got a stroke. And he wasn't doing well. She says, I need you down here. I need help.
Yeah.
So I says, okay. I waited. I said, Lord, they did so much for me. I never, if I told them, listen, I need $20,000, they send it. You know, I says, let me go.
Yeah.
So I told my wife, you want to move to the islands? I told you we want to retire early. Let's go to the islands. So she says, okay, but I came first with the kids, with Casey and Selena.
Yeah.
So that's how I moved here. But had I actually known that he would have only lived like 2 months, I may not have. I packed up
fast.
everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sold the house, everything, all my equipment. I sold my lawn service at a loss because just tried to sell quick.
Yeah.
And just moved here.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Because she lived till 93, you know, and we had a good time. Like we always, you know, Micah says, the childhood abuse,
Yeah.
you know, I never held anything. They needed help. They, you know, I was there. They were there when I needed them.
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs never missed a basketball game or softball game going up through school.
Yeah.
You know, and that father figure was always there.
Yeah.
You know, even when I was sitting in front of the judge because I did something, and I'm sitting in front of the judge, he's a head of customs, you know, and you can see the shame when I look across at him. You can see the shame on his face.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the shame, and you know, and I'm like, oh man. So I says, you know, for all I put them through, because I was miserable. You know, I'd get into trouble, not major trouble. You know, pick up somebody's car and we go joyriding. You know, get caught, so now you're in front of the judge. You know, so stuff like that, and you see the shame on his face, and I'm like, you feel bad. You know, so I came and I stayed. A little history too. When I came, I said, okay, I'm going to Statia. Statia doesn't have much. Should I bring my lawn service or should I depend? So I came to Statia the year, like a couple months before, and I did a service. Oh, they don't have computers here yet. So that's where I started. I brought all my I bought the
Which
office.
was really good.
Yes,
That
everything.
was a place
Everything.
a lot of people used to go
I
to.
got a lot.
Yes.
I didn't work for any. I worked there until from '99 till 2004 when I worked at a pool. That was our income for my wife and I and the kids. And it was good because I was the first source of internet on Statia.
For sure.
Because I brought a satellite dish with me. Because I did that. Denny's restaurant gave me that ability because they sent me away to school to study computers. Because I was young and they were going computerized. So they sent me to study for 2 years, and then I was instrumental in getting all their stores in the US, Canada, Australia, China, Curacao, computerized.
Wow.
So
that's major.
that was
That's
good.
major.
That's where I learned my computer experience. So I said, you know, I'm going down there. I work with IBM, I work with HP. And what kept me afloat too is they will have a problem. Lopes, we have a problem, we can't solve it. It's in this building in the attic, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, send me my ticket when you're ready, and they will pay for me to go back up, solve the problem. They pay me, and then I'll come back down. You know, so a lot of times I worked online with, you know, they have a problem. Let's say you can't get into your HP. They will call me and, okay, what's your problem? Tell me. I was good at sorting out the problem.
So that was really come in handy when you had an internet cafe. You could easily assist them.
Yes, that's why I was. I was very good at that. And that's why the internet cafe went real good. But then, everything lives out its life. Cell phones came in. First, it was Motorola. There was a
Oh yes, the
Motorola. The
Motorola's. Yes,
Motorola.
you're right.
They
The
had
Nokia's,
then the
touch
flip.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
can remember
Yeah.
that.
And even some of the Motorola's, those block phones, you
Yeah.
could do a little internet on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You're there with your little finger.
Yeah.
Then the Blackberries came in.
Yeah.
And then I didn't start. It wasn't making a lot of money, and then a lot of competition. That's the competition is good, but sometimes Stacia we overdo the competition.
Yeah.
And then other people started doing printing. Remember, I would make books, I would print
Yeah.
cards, I would do.
Yes.
Other people started doing that. And I said, okay, it's time for me to. That's where I started to move into the lawn service.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
knew grass will always grow.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's for sure.
That is guaranteed.
And I had a plan to but I've never had to do it because
Yeah.
then I would have just started to talk everybody to let me put sprinklers in your yard
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
water your yard.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is also something you
That's-
should do. Yeah.
Well,
can still-
now that we have the water plant, yes, you can do that. But back then you didn't have the water plant. You had to rely on your systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't really want to, so I didn't really push that.
Yeah.
Because that would save
You
so
know.
many people the headache
the
or
grass, yeah,
figuring
keep
it
To
out.
keep the grass.
Let it up to you. Deal
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
So, but like I said, I have no regrets moving back down.
Yeah.
It was a rough, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't go back to the US till 2001 because had I gone back, I would have moved everybody back.
Ah, okay.
The hardest the hardest transition I have in moving was if I'm going to fix your computer, I'm in the US, I'm fixing your computer. Oh, he needs a modem. I run to the store and pick up a modem.
Yeah.
Your modem was dead and I had none in stock for that computer. You had to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now there's a logic. If I can give you your car back in 1 day, you would pay me $500.
Yeah.
If it takes 3 days, I can only charge you $300 because you're not going to pay it so quick. If
Yeah.
it takes a week, it's only $100.
Yeah. Exactly.
People lose interest after a while. So that hurt. Sometimes I would fix a computer. It sat there for like a month before the person came and picked it up
Yeah.
because they didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
So that is the thing, and I couldn't adjust to that.
Yeah.
I needed something, and I gotta wait 2 weeks till it
Yep.
comes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the hardest adjustment. Now I'll order something, and my wife will say, "Has the thing come yet?" I said, "Sweetheart, it takes a while."
Yeah. That's true.
Wow.
That's true. The convenience of how we used to have it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. Sometimes you don't used to do anything about boy. Because when we used to live in Holland too. The next
you
day,
just go
sometimes
pick up
same
something.
day.
Just get
Yeah.
it.
So leave out in the morning.
Yeah, you order
in the
the
afternoon you
thing.
go get
Yeah,
it.
it's right there.
But
Yeah.
down here,
Yeah,
Takes time.
it took a while. So
Yeah.
you adjust.
yeah.
So I adjusted.
So right now is mainly the landscaping and the swimming.
Yeah.
What you're doing.
Landscape. No, but I work for SSFF, Central Statia Sports Facility
Oh
Foundation.
yes.
So they're in charge of the pool. But I started out before them with the Housing Foundation, was in charge of the pool. So I was the manager of the pool. So that's the only job that I've had for somebody else in Statia.
Yes. Yeah.
And on that note, I would like to, a lot of us start our own businesses, but we don't, sometimes we start it for the wrong reasons. Some of us start businesses because most businesses you need to make the money, but some people want the independence. I don't have to work tomorrow. But when you have your own business, it's worse than when you're working for Tom over there. Yeah. When I working for Tom, I said, I don't feel like going in today. Tom, let's find somebody to work. And I call off and I stay home. I don't feel good and I stay home. There are times you're sick. You best go to work because you ain't going to have no money.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
that is the
Yeah.
key with running your own business. It's not always candy,
Yeah.
and if you don't work, and this is like we were talking earlier, this is where when my son stepped in big, I was away for 2 months doing my radiation for prostate cancer. I was away for 2 months, and he held it down as best he could. We were on the phone all the time. If he, oh yeah, do this, yeah, that. But that makes a difference. If he wasn't there, I think the business would have gone down because it's hard. It's a hard business, being on your own. The pool hasn't missed me. Well, they did, but they did, but you catch what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But another thing with
But
me,
this is yours.
yeah, no, but another thing with me, the pool didn't miss me because in any business I do, I always incorporate. A lot of people don't like to do that. I always train somebody to be better than me. Yeah. Because then my job comes easier. If you want to get rid of me because he's better, you know, that's just something a teacher, as a teacher, you love that, that your student got better than you. So the young lady that works with me, I taught her how to do the pump. She knows how to vacuum. So she knows how to keep the pool running. So the pool kept on running without me there.
Yeah.
Good thing it was summer, because the swimming lessons would have continued going with her there too. So you always teach your
pass
trade.
on and train.
You treat, because now I'm 63, 2 years I retire. You have somebody there that continue going with the pool.
Exactly.
So the pool will continue going. So that is the key. So last year made me 20 years there.
Since
2004 till now.
Wow.
But if you look back at my job, I think I've had 10 jobs in my whole life. I'm not a person that jumps from job to job. If I commit to you, okay, I may ask you for a raise, but I committed, I'm going to work for you. I don't jump from I stay mainly. And out of those 10 jobs, 6 of them were my own.
Exactly.
Your own,
Yeah.
So
that is good.
You touch on briefly, you were speaking and you touch on prostate cancer. I'm trying to get, how did you even come to the realization that you had the prostate cancer?
Okay. Cancer is a taboo that everybody hates to speak about. In 2017, my wife says, listen, we're going for a checkup. You know the look we give. So I went, and Dr. Dongo says your PSA count, which is affiliated with your prostate, is high. It's supposed to be a 3, sorry. Yours is a 4. I says, okay, no problem. He says, no, we got to work on it. I don't know why. He says, yeah. He says, if it gets any higher, I have to do the test,
Yeah.
So I says, yeah. So he pushed though. And I did another test, and it was still a 4. He gave me pills, and it was still the 4. So we started watching it. I went online, look at remedies. So from then, I started doing a natural way of cleansing the prostate, because just because your prostate is enlarged doesn't mean you have cancer. So I didn't even have cancer on the brain. So I went, did all my natural stuff, my sours, cutting out sugars. I didn't use much sugar, but I cut out sugar. Intentional sugar, what I'm talking about. Like if I'm going to make cornflakes, it's going to be just a plain cornflakes. I'm not adding sugar.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even adding honey. If I drink tea, I'm going to drink it like that.
Yeah.
Sodas having the sugar, whatever has in the sugar, I'll eat it. I didn't cut those out that much.
Was that transition easy for you to do?
Yeah, it was fine. I'm the type, I just put my mind to it. It's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Tastes awful at first, but then you
Just do
adjust.
it. Yeah.
Okay. It's health-wise, so you adjust.
Yeah.
I went back a year later, and it had gone to a 5 or a 6. So he says, we need to start working on it. And I agreed with him because I went natural. I swore it was going to be low. Because I really stuck to my diet. I slimmed down, and it didn't really change it. So he says, we need to do the test. And I even made my little jokes, because that's me. Everybody knows me for my joking charisma. I says, oh, don't go, boy. You see the size of your finger? He says, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to send you to St. Martin. I said, okay, you know. And I went to St. Martin. We set up everything, went to St. Martin, and that was a little thing. Went to the gentleman, the doctor, and he did an ultrasound. He says, oh, yes, one of your kidneys has some growth in it, something I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm panicking now. My kidneys, shucks, that's diabetes.
Yeah.
That's dialysis. I'm like, oh man, I came for cancer, now they're telling
Something else.
Yeah.
And honestly, I will take my chances with the cancer than the dialysis.
Yeah.
And I wait and I see how people struggle with that.
Yeah.
Give me the cancer, because we can fight that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really fight, you know, dialysis, you either need a new kidney or it's hard.
And you have to travel a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm panicking, and then he's fussing because I didn't bring all my records.
Yeah.
You know? I said, but I don't know, doc. I says, you're fussing with me. I says, you know what? It's Zedrica, it's their money. Just send me back on the plane. Tell me what I need to get, and
And
I'll
then
make another appointment. No. So he hustled me through.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he did the test, and I made a joke, and he didn't appreciate my joke. I said, Doc, are you taking me for lunch after all of those? He didn't like the joke. So that's when I learned, okay, I gotta curb my jokes.
Yeah.
Doc, you know you gotta take me to, anyway. You know, he set up, I need to see you again. He says, okay. Then. All right, and to kill the whole story, went back, found out, did all the tests that we were supposed to do. It took about a year. I had to do MRIs, CT scans, biopsies. Took a year, came back, yes, you have cancer. By that time, I was going not to Ramos anymore. Rojas had come in, Dr. Rojas. So when dealing with Rojas, he says, when I went over after I did my biopsy, he came. He says, "You want to know what the results are?" I says, "Doc, you promised me when I come over this time we're going to lunch. We're going to the Jerk. Okay, so are we going to the Jerk or are we going to talk about cancer?" He says, "Okay, we go to the Jerk. I'll tell you afterwards." So when we're at the Jerk, he says, I said, "We're not talking anything about hospital work here. We're here to eat, enjoy our food." So on the way back, I said, "Okay, now that I know I have cancer, let me tell you what I'm going to do," because I already researched it. Because the minute I have to do a biopsy, I've gone through all these tests, I know I have something.
Yeah.
Because in my life, then I was 50 something. Up to that point, the only thing that I've been in a hospital for is when I cut off this finger.
Oh.
Yeah, this was from a lawnmower too.
I
of
didn't
the
even
trade.
notice.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's the only thing that
I had no clue that you had a finger.
That's the only time that I've ever had to fight. So
Yeah.
there is no way I'm gonna miss out. I didn't have measles, I didn't have mumps, I didn't have none of the AIDS that was going around, the herpes that was going around back in the days, none of that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get something. So I said, okay. And he was astonished that I didn't.
Or you was receiving it.
Yeah, I says, okay, we're going to do the prostatectomy with a removal of the lymph nodes. And he's looking at me, this guy did his research. I said, I told him, I even watched the whole operation, the whole hour and a half operation on YouTube.
Yeah.
I says, okay, we'll do that. And then he says, okay, where do you want me to send you? Because, you can send. I says, can you do the operation? He said, yeah. You will be the first one I'm doing in St. Martin.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Yeah.
So you do it. Tell me when, and we set up a date. And I went. And the reason why I didn't want to go to Colombia, Curacao, or the United States would have been fine, but family. Everybody doesn't realize how important it is. Doing it in St. Martin, Casey could come over, Selena could come over, family members could come over. People are over there for their own medical. They know you're there. They're gonna come visit.
Can easily check in.
They're gonna come and visit,
which makes you feel more comfortable too.
and a lot of people don't realize my healing from my cancer had started when I gave the doc. By the time I researched and told him what I'm going to do, that's where my healing began. Because in my mind, this is fixing everything.
You start accepting it too.
Oh, I've already accepted it. But this is going to fix it. The doctor, he had explained to me different cases he had in Venezuela, and I trusted him. One of the reasons, it's a stupid reason for trusting him. His name is Carlos Rojas. So a Carlos is not going to kill a Carlos on the table. You get where I'm coming from? I know it's a little stupid, but that was a connection. You
give
know,
honor to the name.
The name, you know. And my daughter came down from the U.S. for she was there for the operation. And I remember making a joke with him. He says, I'm going to have to order blood. You're O positive, blah, blah, blah. I said, don't worry, I'm bringing 2 blood banks with me. My daughter is coming and my 2 daughters are coming. They both own, so you don't have to worry, there's enough blood. You know? He's like, you joking.
Wow.
You know? And we went in, we did the operation in St. Martin. And I will tell you something, I did radiation a couple months ago. I would take the operation again over the radiation at the end of the day.
It was so intense.
The operation, there was a little discomfort, but you know there was going to be discomfort, and it wasn't that bad. You know, I was in the hospital for, he had me pick the day. So I picked July 23rd. I said, I'm going to do it on the day I was born, January 23rd. So I did a lot of thinking. So the doctor's name is Carlos. It's going to be on the 23rd of July. That's when he can put the appointment in. It's on the 23rd. So there's not much can happen to me. It shouldn't happen on the day I was born. You know, and the doctor's name is Carlos. So my anniversary was the day before. You know. And no, my wife's birthday was the day before. And my anniversary was going to be...
You're making sure I said I wasn't correct. The anniversary.
The wife's birthday was the day before the operation. So I'll always remember when the operation was. Not the birthday, I remember that. Because you had to remember the birthday. And then the anniversary was a week after. So I should be out to the hospital by then. So we went in, we did the operation. It was good. It wasn't rough. Anesthesia, I usually have a problem with anesthesia. Everything went good. It had me thinking, boy, people talk so bad about ZVK. People talk so bad about St. Martin Hospital. I had no problems.
That is great.
I'll tell everybody I have never had a problem with the hospital. You know? The nurses, we had a ball because I was always joking. I recovered quickly because I says, nurse, you see that food you sent me? I said, that's for sick people. I said, the doctor told me I can eat anything. And she said, I'm going to check with the doctor. So she came back. She said, you're right. You can eat anything. I said, okay, can you order me some Kentucky Fried Chicken? You know? Because I said, you know, I have to recover. I need to eat good. So she got the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Good. You know, and I told my wife, she says, how you got it? I says, nurses got it for me. She says, oh, you can eat that? I said, yeah, I can eat anything. Any food. Bring it. But it was good. I remember being miserable because the doctor said I could come out Friday. I had an operation Wednesday. He said I can come out Friday. So I called ZVK. I told them the doctors might be releasing me Friday. So okay, you'll be on Winier the Friday afternoon. I said, Doc, give me till Monday. I said, you know, I was, from my navel to my groin I was cut. I said, how am I going to go on Winier?
One time.
I said, Doc, keep me. He said, you can go. I said, no, if I go home, they're going to send me back to Stacia. You know, so he says, okay. So I stayed in the hospital for the
For the
X-ray.
thing.
And then I lucked out. We didn't come back over till Thursday because there was a storm.
Okay. Yeah.
So I,
So
I
that
got
was
to,
just up until
no,
recently.
that was 2019.
Oh,
That
okay.
was
2019.
2019.
Okay.
So with cancer, they say that if you're cancer free for 6 years and more, you're good.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
Yeah.
So this year, July 23rd would have made 6 years. I go to, when you take out your prostate, your PSA level is supposed to be on like 0.2, 0.1, 0.0.
Yeah.
Mine started going up a year before. It went to a 0.3. It stayed there for 6 months. And 2003, it went to a 0.4. And they got concerned because I had to keep doing a PSA test for men. I'd advise any man that's after you hit 40, 45, do your PSA test.
Yeah.
You know, because that gives you an indication of what's going on.
Yeah.
So it started going up. Now, when you have your prostate, it's a 3.0 is the highest it has to be.
Yeah.
When you don't have your prostate, it's a 0.03. It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's less numbers.
Yeah.
So mine, when they sent me to do, it's called a PET scan in Colombia. It was because it was like 4 or 6, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I went and did a PET scan. Oh, that was awful because I had to drink so much water. You have to take like a nuclear substance. It's actually nuclear substance.
Yeah.
And then they put you in something like a CT scan or MRI, but it's called a PET scan.
Yeah.
What happens is if there's any cancer in your body, it lights up like, you know, if in a dark night you look up at the stars in the sky, that's how it lights up in your body.
Okay.
That stuff and cancer makes it light. So it was clean. I was happy.
Yeah.
Came back home. Every year I have to do one of those. So this year I went in March, and like I said, I do computer, so I cheat. When they send they give me the CD. So I went on the hotel's computer. I did it the year before, popped it up, pulled a scan from off of YouTube where you have cancer, prostate cancer, and you don't have cancer. And I compared the two of them. I didn't see any. This year I did the same thing, didn't see any. And the doctor, they send me back home. So everybody I say everything went
Yeah.
good. Then they call me and say, oh, we saw a spot that wasn't there last year in your prostate. Where they took it out, it's called a prostate bed. There was a spot that wasn't there last year. Yeah, about the size of a pinhead.
Wow.
They said it wasn't there last year. And I'm like, okay, is it cancerous? Well, we don't know. It didn't light up. So now I had a decision to make. I says, can we do a biopsy? We don't want to do a biopsy because once you do a biopsy, that can make you get cancer.
Oh.
Says, okay. So they don't usually like to give you
I
more
didn't
than
even
one
know that.
biopsy. Yeah. So because by going back
It
in
can
now,
trigger,
they can
or-
trigger. So they didn't want to do a biopsy. So when I went to Rojas again. We sat down. I says, Dr. Rojas, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. He says, I was waiting on that. I says, okay, we're gonna do some radiation in that spot. He gave me the name. He says, yes, okay. He said, but you know, you can do nothing for right now. I said, if I don't do nothing, my daughter and my wife are gonna be on my case. You never want to do anything. So so they set it up. No problem again with ZJCN because they've changed. No problem. They sent me back to Colombia. I was expecting, because from what we researched, to do like 10 sessions. But the guy told me I had to do 25. So that meant I had to stay there for 7 weeks. You know? Then when I reached there, they had put down the wrong radiation. So I had to wait like another 4 days. That's why it ended up being 2 months for Zedveka to approve because there's one that I could have done in Aruba, where if your prostate is the size of this, your prostate is about the size of an acorn.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it's a their radiation beams this, big beam on your stomach. Mine's the size of a pinhead. So you needed, it's called localized radiation, where they're going for that pin and a little area around it. They don't want to damage anything else. So I had to have 25 sessions of that. They do it 5 days a week. So, you can't count weekends. So you have to be there work days. And nobody told me Colombia had so many holidays.
Wow.
Because once you have a holiday, they don't open, so that puts you back
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
So that makes it even longer.
Longer. And everything was fine. Colombia is nice. The people are exceptional. The hospital was beautiful. The nurses were incredible. So
So you were comfortable.
yes, I would do. But the problem I had is I had to drink maybe a glass and a half. So about 6 glasses of water an hour before my treatment. And that was rough. Because sometimes they run over their time. So when they call you, you're there wanting to pee so badly. And then, you're proud, you don't want to pee on the table. So that was rough. And then a week into the radiation, that's when I got my first my first side effect. I couldn't stand the smell of food. And you see how ironic that is? The person who loves food
Exactly.
could not stand the smell of food.
Yeah.
They gave me a diet that I was supposed to be on. This diet is incredible. It's just, when I read it, I'm like, what's left there to eat? So I had to stay on a specific diet where there was like, I'll give you a quick example. No cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus, beets, okras, no like peanuts, hazelnuts, no carrots, no this, no that.
Basically, you can't eat nothing.
Hardly anything.
Wow.
Right? Can eat fish, tuna.
But what those items are like? Is it like
They're gassy and what is it? Where they're like a healer. So when you're doing the radiation, they don't want it to fight with the radiation to weaken it. Anti-inflammable, something like that, where those are vegetables that fix you, that heal you. Garlic, onions, these are things
Imagine
that fix you.
Yeah.
So they want the radiation to do its course.
Yeah.
So I started just getting weaker because I'm just eating. I don't want to eat, but I know I have to eat, so I'm just forcing to eat. And that's what made it rough.
And that's why you don't like the radiation either, right?
There was no pain from the radiation. It's just the side effects. I can't eat. That's the main one. If I could have eaten, there would have been no problem.
Exactly,
There would have been no problem. There was no pain. There was no discomfort. It's just I couldn't eat. And it also, then I got the next, which I think isn't from the radiation. I got diarrhea and I was peeing a lot because I had to drink a lot of water. You have to even drink water after because that's what keeps the radiation out your body. So
But at that time you feel weak as well.
yeah, you're
right?
getting weaker. But the thing is, in the morning when I got up, I felt 100%. So I go for a walk, I start drinking my water, and then head to the hospital. By 2, 3 in the afternoon, I went downhill. Go in my bed, miserable, try to get up. But then there's always a silver lining. My daughter called. She says, I'm coming to Colombia to give you the same one that came for the operation. Because she's the single one. She doesn't have any children or anything. All the others have kids. So it's rough to. So she says, I'm coming. I said, okay. So she came for a week. And that week went quickly because instead of staying in the hotel, we would go and visit the different sites. So that took your mind off of
As
it.
well,
I was feeling weak at times, and our driver was very good. He would make sure that the car was close, and that took it off. But everything went good. I missed one session, and that was my weakest moment. I went the day to do it. I was ready, drank my water, and then the diarrhea hit me. I reached inside. It was good. Then just as I was going to go on the table, I says, "Ma'am, I need to go to the bathroom. If I go to the bathroom, I'm going to pee, and I feel weak. Can we cancel it for today?" She said, "We got to ask the doctor." So she went, she asked the doctor, came, she looked at me. I said, "I need to go to the bathroom, not the front, back." I said, "I need to go to the bathroom. I'm holding it as best as I can till you come." She says, "Go." She says, "Come back Monday." This was a Friday.
Yeah.
So I missed that session, and I had to work with my brain. I'm like, listen, it's just one session, because
You were so thin
felt,
on yourself.
because I'm like, why didn't I force and try and get it done? This is one session. I says, it's one session, you know. So, but it went through, and everything went good. And then I got the second blows when everything was finished. I did my last one, and I had to go and see the doctor. So the doctor says, "Oh, everything is good. You've lost so many kilos, and blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you don't have cancer, or you do have cancer. In 2 months, you got to come back." And this is, I said, "Okay, thank you, doc, blah, blah, blah." So I says, "I can't wait to get home." She says, "Why?" I says, "I can eat. I'm off the diet." She says, "No, you're not. You got 2 more weeks."
Wow.
Boy.
Yeah, that is rough. That is rough. Yeah.
I swore I was so happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I says, "Doc, let's be realistic. Tell me what I can cheat and eat." So she went through the list and said, "Well, you can eat this, you can eat this, you can eat this," which made it a little better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
you know.
Because you're already going through something and then you can't eat. Really, like,
So I think the
it
eating,
makes
I
it
think the
hard.
diarrhea part was more that my body was adjusting to what I was trying to eat.
Trying to figure
And it
out.
was hard. We lived right next door to a mall. I couldn't cook. Before I was cooking what I could eat, you know, chicken breast, tuna, or salmon. I was cooking. Then I couldn't handle the smell. And what killed me is downstairs, there's a pizza store. And that smell when they were cooking, and the hotel used to cook their own breakfast for us. And when that smell came up, I'm like, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then when you're on a walk, Colombia have vendors on the side of the road
Yeah,
selling
that
it.
too.
So
And
you
you're smelling it again. But it wasn't as bad outside. You know? But like I said, here in Statia, a lot of, all over the world, a lot of people are afraid to say, "Hey, I'm sick, I have cancer, I have this, I have that." You know, you didn't pick this for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Anybody who has cancer, prostate, I don't know about breast cancer, I don't know about stomach or throat, I know about prostate cancer. Anybody that needs to talk to me, just feel free. Stop me, ask me, I don't care. I'm sick. It's, you know, like now I wear a pad because if I sneeze, I'm like, I make joke of it. I have to cross my leg like a, you know, only women who have had children know the pain. You know? If I have to sneeze, I have to cross my leg or else I'll pee a little bit, you know? But the kids at the pool know that. They said, "Coach, you make sure you take off your pad before you jump in the water." Because if I jump in the water, it blows up. You know? So I say, yeah, thanks, I remember. That's nothing to be ashamed
But
of.
it's nice that you
have the humor in
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not some people get, listen, I know I went through the cancer ordeal. I speak to everybody. I also did what you call hormone therapy. I went into the chemo lab to do this, and I got depressed. I was like, God, I am here worrying about a little peeing and drinking some water, and these people have to go through and then what gets you when you see a little child with a clean head,
Boy.
and I'm like, oh, I'm worrying about my little, I missed a Friday, and look at how these people have to go through. And the beauty with, I can't speak Spanish, but all the people who are doing the same test as me, because they go through hundreds of people. But at my time, there were like 5 or 6 guys. And when I went in, I told the guy, I got 2. We speak a little broken. Yeah. I got 2 more. He said, I got 5 more. And then the last day when I was down to my 1, he was outside crying. He and his wife. I'm like, what happened? He says, I feel terrible today. I said, don't worry about it. I says, I had a lot of days I feel terrible. If you feel that bad, I know you have only 4 more, but I would have been finished yesterday, but I missed one. I says, just tell them or just try, He said, oh, thank you.
Man, you see, that's nice. That's good support.
And
Exactly.
I felt good, and there was another guy, he told me, I'm done today, so make sure you finish today.
Yeah.
And,
I love that.
so it was, you
give a little boost, some more.
Yeah, because when you keep stuff to yourself, it gets worse. Yeah. Healing begins when you know you're going to get better. Yeah, and I have at no time have admitted that I really have CAM. Like, okay, they said so. Okay, you fix it. Yeah. I'm not letting that deter me. Like I was talking to Casey today. I said, listen, if anything happens to me, these are my numbers. These are this is this. I said, don't start crying. I had a good life. I says, I know everybody's gonna cry. I said, but don't be sad because I'm gone. Just be sad, sad that I'm not there. I've had a good life, and I'm not even worrying about the cancer. Because if I worry, can that help it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, and I've always thought that way, healing begins when you know you can beat something. Because you have to prepare for whenever. It may not be cancer. And if you look at it, I've gone through 2 ordeals with the cancer. I don't believe the second one. The first one, yes. I don't believe the second one was, but I took the precautions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I got to go back in 2 months, do my PSA test. They didn't want me to do one yet. 2 months, within 2 months. I know that the level is going to go. There is a yes and a no. If the level goes down, then it was cancer. Mm-hmm. If the level stays there, then it wasn't cancer. So there is you catch? Because another doctor had explained to me that when they take your prostate, they can't go with the whole prostate because your urethra goes through your prostate. Mm-hmm. So they have to leave some. But when they did the biopsy of the prostate, they took out. They said they cut with well far within the perimeters of where cancer was. Yeah. Now, in saying that, they have to put other nerves back around that they cut off, so they have to put it back. So the doctor was explaining to me that sometimes the prostate heals itself. The pieces that are left heals itself. And if it heals itself, it's going to start working like a prostate. So it's going to give off. So it could be that. Yeah. But they didn't want to take a biopsy to see because they said that, so we go as if it's cancer. So it's better to try and get rid of, So if it goes down, it was cancer. If it doesn't,
then it just,
we just have to keep monitoring it. And whatever it comes up to be, I go out and work a little bit, and I must say, Stacia, the people I have been, people have fussed at me because they saw me out working. You just came back, what, you gonna kill yourself, Yeah. But what they don't realize too is staying home, and
you're just gonna be thinking about it.
I am not going to. The doctor told me what I can do and what I can't do. So I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to just go
just be active, moderate.
Especially for how active
I was all the time.
It's true,
Exactly.
So I try, try and work with it. And like I said, I was glad for the opportunity to come and talk with, about cancer, because we have it as a taboo that, we can't tell anybody we have cancer.
No, but
you didn't.
Like you say, you bottling everything is not going to do you any good.
Because you have stories where you know somebody, and then you hear they have cancer, and then 2 months they died. You didn't tell them they had cancer. I guarantee they might have lived a year or more.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know you have cancer, that means the cancer is not that life-threatening. It is life-threatening, but if there are no signs, like with me, there were no signs that I had cancer. With prostate cancer, when you go to the bathroom to urinate, your stream becomes weak. You know, as a young boy, you can pee on the lizard on the tree over there. If you have prostate cancer, it's going to pee on your knee going down there. I didn't have that problem.
Okay.
They say erections was a problem too.
Yeah.
Didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
So if I didn't do that blood test, I wouldn't have known.
Your own checkup.
Yeah. If I didn't do that test, that PSA test.
Could have
I
people
wouldn't
out
have
there
known.
who
Yes.
has it and
they
not
don't
aware.
know, right?
Yeah.
And like the doctor told me, he said, you know, you might have lived till 70 before the cancer starts giving, you know, some of them give you pain after a while. The prostate is so big you can't pee, you know, but that will come later. And by that time, it's too late. You know, it's too late to do a lot of the easier stuff. You know, if there was another evasive way I could have gone, it's where they put seeds, small radioactive seeds. They plant it around the cancer. It's just like radiation, but it's low dose and it's there till it fades out. That wasn't an option when I was researching. You know, this is newer. You know, there are newer
Modernized.
technologies now where the guys, you don't have to be you don't have to be excited, you know, that, oh my God, no, you know, and even the big joke one we have that the doctor put his finger, you know, it's not even as bad as you
Think.
imagine, you know, so.
Because I could, you're thinking in mind, man. So you're gonna feel you'll be like, boy, this is gonna be.
You imagine.
But it's just in your mind. You have to do it for your health. You have to do it.
That's how it is.
It's for your health.
The only part, like I said, taking out my prostate. The only pain I actually had is when they took out the catheter. You know the thing. I know how women.
Oh, the
have-
catheter.
Listen,
Yes.
I know how women feel with childbirth because when they were pulling it, I felt
That has
it
been the
coming.
worst.
I'm like, oh my God. And taking out, I had staples. I had 23 staples, the metal staples that kept my stomach together.
Yeah.
And I learned the hard way, don't cough.
Listen.
Don't cough. I like some water, I was drinking some water, it went down wrong. I'm like, oh my God.
I know you feel like you're going to explode.
The nurse came, she says, no, anytime you need to cough, put a pillow over it.
Yeah.
And yes. But that was it.
Wow.
You know?
No, I can imagine the pain.
Yeah, but like I said,
Can laugh about it now, but then
I was laughing about it then too. And I tell people, don't make me laugh.
yeah.
But you know, that's what took the day on. You know, the nurses and I just joked about. I just joked all the time. They says, "You didn't just take." I says, "You know," they say, "You didn't just take out a problem, and you there."
Yeah.
You know.
What I wanted to know, what make your wife say we have to go to check up?
That's how she is.
Okay.
Every year.
Thought it was like something.
No, it's every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's every year. We need to go do a check.
Priority.
Me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But that's a man. That's typical man's idea.
Yeah.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I now going through. I tell, don't worry with me, and if it ain't broke, fix it. Check, at least check.
Yeah.
You know, once it hits that, if it's 3, it's fine. Once it goes over the 3.0, you need to start deciding what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, mine when I took mine out was at 10 or 11.
Wow.
It had reached that quick,
Yeah.
that high. But there are other people that have prostate readings of 22, 23, but they don't have any cancer. And that is, you know,
That's strange. Different.
strange.
Yeah.
But you got to remember the PSA test is not a sure 100 that it's cancer. It's just that your prostate is not functioning the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know? And then remember I told you I was panicking about my kidneys? They found out after doing the MRI it was a water cyst. So I'm like,
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good thing that you follow
Yeah.
back on that because
Yeah.
we didn't.
See,
Yeah.
it was a water cyst. I'm like,
That's good.
seriously, I was in tears. I mean, the tears run down my eyes and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then the doctor asked me, he said, but you didn't cry when I told you I had cancer.
Yeah.
That's worse. I said, no, it's not. I said, dialysis, I take my hat off to anybody that
Yeah.
does dialysis. That's
Yeah.
every 2-3 days.
Yeah.
You know, you miss, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, cancer, I have to go test every year.
Yeah.
You know, and hope that it comes out black.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and if it comes out with something, because you're testing so often, there is an option. There's some sort of option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, dialysis. No, the only option is getting a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Carlos, we wanna really thank you for coming on the podcast. I know we can speak almost all night about different topics, but we would
For
want
sure.
to, like you said, we could invite you back so we could talk about some different topics. But
Yeah.
we're very happy you were so open to share and talk about, especially the cancer, but also
Life.
being in Stacia, life in Stacia, the different things that we also learn while speaking to you. And we feel that, it'd be nice to sit back down another time and discuss on some more stuff. So first, we want to thank you for even coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
And like
I have
you
one
question? Yeah.
one question. If anybody who's going through something, what positive note would you or encouragement would you give them?
Well, what on a positive note, cancer-wise, I can answer that. I said, you know, do your research before you accept what the doctor has told you. Ask the doctor. When the doctor gives you his suggestion, research it. And make sure you research it with an open mind, because sometimes when you go on the internet, you swear you're dead.
Yep.
Just for a cold, you swear you're dead.
Yes.
So just make sure you research and stay positive.
Yeah.
Because everybody's body is different. So, you know, you might have had a friend, because I hear a lot of people, oh, my father died from prostate cancer, you know, and you would get scared. No, that's their life. They lived in a different time, you know. Stay positive. Healing begins when you think, it's all in your mind. Healing begins when you know you're going to get cured.
That's
You
true.
know, so that's where the first thing of healing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
I appreciate you guys
Thanks a lot.
having me on.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Like I say here on the talk, Jackie Imagery, capture the moment,
Watch
watch
it
forever.
forever.
See you guys in the next episode. Bless.
Bless.